Right, so my name is Piotr, I'm the CEO of the Polyend company, and I'm willing to show you this brand new device which we are collaborating with Dreadbox guys. So it's called Medusa, and it's quite of, intensive and hardcore experience, but let me show you. So this is the synthesizer that has 3 analog voices plus 3 digital voices plus the noise. And it started as an addition to Yanis's, Dreadbox's famous sounds. So he developed this 3 oscillator kind of new approach to his synthesis. So the filter is brand new, and he also added FM, which works really nicely. And he asked us to give him to implement some digital storage for the presets. And he said 7 presets, because he had those 7 stage potentiometer and then 7 sequences. So we immediately said, yeah, let's do it. It would be great to collaborate in that matter. And we almost done it. And then we sat down drinking beer and talking about the stuff. And we said, you know what? It's not very cool and Polyend type of stuff. So maybe we should revisit it. And he said, well, how about you do some stuff digitally that I'm doing analogically, like for example envelopes, and feel free to add anything you wish. So we went immensely, we went bonkers in that. We added envelopes, and those envelopes are independent. So you have 5 independent envelopes with target to every parameter there is. They can be loopable, they have this short delay up front. And then the same story with LFOs, where you have the wave that can be sweepable. And then the targets are, as you see, loads of targets here. So you can, for example, make LFO affecting other LFO, that affects other LFO, and so on and so forth. So once again with the wave, there you have it. And then we said, okay, how about we add some digital subwaves? Once we added subwaves, it was easy for us to add, normal, typical digital oscillators that are parallel to analog ones. So we share the same, you see, I'm switching from analog to digital, and we share the same waves, but on top of that, we added 1 wavetable. So for now, it's just this wavetable which can be sweepable and LFO and enveloped. But later on we will add the software that will enable you to draw your own wavetables and use it in your presets. So we have more or less the envelope LFO covered. So this is obviously monophonic, but as we know how to go from monophonic to polyphonic, we started working with that as well. So we added 2 options like polyphony 1, polyphony 2. The one will play pairs of each oscillator, so 1 digital, 1 analog. So when you hit the button, we hit the key, it will occupy that, and then it will go further to the next pair and next pair. So that's why you'll be able to play chords of 3 notes. In P2, you will be able to play 6 notes independently, so each note will occupy 1 of the oscillators. This is almost polyphony. I say almost because we are sharing 1 filter on the top of it. So as we have the synthesis covered, now let's move to the left side. And we are working on the thing we call the grid, which is MPE controller, where you have X, Y, Z functionality independent for each step, and then add step sequencer to that, and we figured out, hey, why don't we add it to the Medusa? It's already crazy, why don't we make it even more crazy? And so we did. So what the grid is that you can play it. Let me load some voices. You can play it like you would play Novation stuff or Ableton Push. So we have all the root note scales, almost 50 scales here. Maybe will also enable you to add scales by your own using the Scala system. There is quite a big demand for that. And everything here, what you see here, can be saved. We have 256 presets for the voices and 256 presets for the sequences. So let me show what's cool about the grid once again. So as you play the keyboard, it's not cool to make them on and off. And I mentioned that we are allowing you to target X, Y, Z movement to, again, whatever you wish, whatever parameter you wish. So the most obvious one is, of course, the vibrato, like on the guitar. But you can, change totally the sound from here to there, right? And then you can play it like the step sequencer. So I think this needs to have the proper sound demo for you to realize. The last thing I would like to mention is that we love random things, as Polyend is always about the random. So we are adding different stages of randomization. The noob stage will allow you to gently change the parameters, like 10% of some parameters, up to hardcore version, where you will be able to totally change the sound after one click. So this is what we would like to do, and we are trying to make it everything as easy to operate as possible, as we always try to do as a Polyend. All right, so maybe I should now stop talking and start making some sounds, right? So, the Medusa will be available still this summer. I think, to be 100% honest, somewhere around the September. And the cost will be €9.99, including VAT and shipment.